2, 1.
I don't need you running down the hall yelling for Capitol Police, okay?
How would you know?
No!
Victim is John Dutton.
Holy shit, you guys. Did you watch this week's Yellowstone episode yet? Because, I'm still shivering from it. Honestly, after a mediocre first 2 episodes, I was hoping to get a banger to get us all excited about the grand finale. And this week, we finally got it. Let me tell you this, that ending will live rent-free in my head for a long time. That's for sure. The good thing is, though, this is only the beginning of a series of badass episodes. And yeah, I'm here for it. So, without further ado, let's talk about what to expect from next week's 12th episode and get an understanding of what might happen in the very ending of the series. First of all, what made episode 11, titled 353, so special among all the other Yellowstone episodes? Well, to start with, there weren't very elongated 4-6's ranch scenes with a bunch of horses hanging around. As I said week after week, I love horses and I love the 4-6's ranch. But this is the Yellowstone show, and I want to watch the Yellowstone show. That's about it. I'm glad that episode 11 spent basically no second in the 4-6's ranch. Yes, we saw how much Beth is impacted by the absence of Rip in her life, how much this dual living situation is emotionally tiring her. And it was more than enough. We got how they feel, we got that they have different priorities, we got that Beth was already very sensitive when John was killed, and we got that no matter how far they live apart, Beth and Rip will always be there for each other. What else would we expect from a 4-6's ranch scene, right? Now, one downside of this limited time of 4-6's is the fact that we also got limited time with Rip, which is a shame, but this will change in next week's episode, as we will see Rip returning to the Yellowstone Ranch for good, taking center stage as the main figure who takes John's revenge. It will be amazing to see him in action, hunting down the killers of John. Did you miss Rip in this week's episode? Would you rather have scenes in the 4-6's ranch so that you can watch more of Rip? Let me know in the comments below. Another factor that made episode 11 special was the fact that Casey was the main character for once. After watching Yellowstone for years, we are used to seeing Casey as basically a side character. Yes, he is a very important side character, and we love to watch him, but no one sees him as the vital part of the show. Well, at least no one was seeing him as the main character up until this episode. For once, Casey was determining the trajectory of the story. I mean, neutralizing a medical examiner out of nowhere as if it is just another Tuesday? Crazy stuff for sure. He also single-handedly changed the fate of everyone, basically. By ensuring that John Dutton's death was indeed homicide, he changed Jamie and Sarah's fates completely, as well as the lives of every single Dutton family member. Thankfully, we will see more of Casey in the upcoming episodes as well. However, he will share his time with Rip, which might be a dream come true. Casey's confrontation with Jamie might feel underwhelming to some of you, but thinking about the two's relationship so far, it was a huge step for Casey to even challenge Jamie this much. In the next week's episode, we will see Casey leaving the task of handling Jamie to Beth, while supporting her behind the scenes. No matter what, Casey wants to believe in the best in Jamie, and yes, it is not easy for him to accept that his brother might be a killer. And I don't care what you say, but I respect this goodness in him. I love to see that the Duttons have an emotional side, and that side is Casey. In episode 11, we will also see more of him spending time with Tate, and thus Monica, as they try to figure out their future without the presence of John. Casey will have to train Tate as the future of the ranch, while also trying to understand his role in all this. Another plus of episode 11 was that it finally managed to shock us. I mean, let's be frank for a second here, shall we? Which one of you guys foresees that Sarah will be killed this early in the show in such a brutal way? I certainly did not. And let me tell you, my jaw was on the floor by the end of the episode. I wasn't a fan of Sarah by any means, but I did not expect to see her go in any way, shape, or form. And I feel like this was the point that Jamie's suffering truly kicked off. He basically lost everything for this woman. And now that woman is gone. Knowing what kind of a man Jamie is, it wouldn't be shocking to see that he blames Sarah for everything and tries to clear his name by doing so. Even though he is a weak man, Jamie has a weird, strong reflex to getting up after every single devastating tragedy and continuing to stand up for himself. It's kind of admirable, honestly. By the way, who do you think ordered the killing of Sarah? Well, we will get a solid answer to that question in episode 12, but based on that shooting style, it seems like someone with military training killed her. Do you remember the first ever episode of Yellowstone in which Casey killed Monica's brother and made 5 bullet holes in Circle? Sarah was basically killed in a very similar way, hinting that one of Casey's old military friends might have done it. But we will see. Either way, this killing and Jamie's stance afterward will link John's death to market equities for sure, and this will lead them to pay billions of compensation to the Yellowstone Ranch, saving the ranch forever, hopefully. But let me know what you think will happen. The most important scene of episode 12, however, will be the funeral of John. In fact, do not be surprised if the entire episode would take place in this funeral, and this funeral alone. The funeral will bring everyone together, facing Beth lashing out at Jamie, creating chaos in which Rip intervenes. And this intervention will lead him to discover the fact that Jamie is the reason why they can't have a child with Beth. And this, my friends, will mark the point that Rip's revenge against Jamie kicks off. In other words, let's say goodbye to Jamie altogether. For more weekly updates and analysis on Yellowstone, make sure to like and follow. If you want to learn about when the long-awaited 4/6's show will be out, watch the video on the screen.